Hi, I'm Rebecca. I never expected my life to change at a well, but that's exactly where God found me. I was just doing my daily work, drawing water, tending to the camels, when a stranger appeared. And in that moment, I felt the weight of destiny pressing against my chest. I had a choice that would shape generations, and I didn't even realize it yet. I grew up in Aram Naharaim, in a quiet home where the rhythm of life rarely changed. Every morning I'd rise before the sun, wrap my scarf, and walk the dirt path to the well. The air was still cool. The clay jars were heavy against my hip. My father, Bethuel, didn't talk much. My brother Laban noticed everything. How many camels passed through the marketplace, when the merchants raised their prices. Our routines were steady. Father met with traders. Laban cared for the animals, and I made sure our water jars were full. That was my job, my place. Yet often, as I stood at the well, with water dripping from my hands, I found myself staring at the horizon, wondering what lay beyond the hills, and if God had something more for me than this quiet, predictable life. That day began like any other, until I saw dust in the distance. A caravan approached. Camels swayed under heavy loads. Servants spoke in low voices. One man stood apart from the rest, older, weathered by the sun, his eyes scanning the well, as if searching for something, or someone. Then, he bowed his head in prayer. I couldn't hear his words, but something about him drew me closer. I dipped my jar into the well, and before he could even ask, I offered, "Drink, my lord, and I'll draw water for your camels too." I had done this for strangers before, but this time was different. My heart was pounding, my hands moved quickly, and I felt an unshakable sense that this moment mattered more than I could understand. He watched silently as I worked, not with idle curiosity, but as if my every action carried meaning. When I finished, he stepped forward. He held out a gold nose ring and bracelets, gifts beyond anything I'd ever owned. Then he asked, "Whose daughter are you? Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night?" That evening, he sat in our home. By the light of the lamps, he told his story. He was a servant of Abraham, sent to find a wife for his master's son, Isaac. He had prayed for a sign at the well, and everything I had done was exactly what he had asked God for. My father and Laban listened carefully. "This is from the Lord," they said. "We cannot speak against it. Take her, and let her be the wife of your master's son." The words echoed in my mind. Leave? Go to a man I'd never met? My heart was torn between the comfort of home and the pull of something greater. That night, I barely slept. Questions swirled in my mind. If this was from God, how could I say no? But if I went, would I ever see my family again? My family gathered the next morning. The air was thick with emotion. They asked me directly, "Will you go with this man?" My voice was quiet, but certain. "Yes, I will go." My mother's hands trembled as she adjusted my veil. My father stood quietly, his eyes heavy with the weight of letting his daughter go. My brothers spoke in unison, their voices strong, as if sealing a covenant. "Our sister, may you become the mother of thousands of 10,000s, and may your offspring possess the gates of those who hate them." Their words felt like a prophecy, echoing in my heart. As I mounted the camel, it was more than a farewell. It was a calling. The road stretched for days. The desert wind burned my face in the daytime, and the cold gripped me at night. I looked east many times, trying to catch one last glimpse of home. But eventually, it was gone from sight. Fear came in waves. What if Isaac didn't want me? What if I wasn't enough? What if I had made a terrible mistake? And yet, Even in the moments when fear tightened its grip, a steady peace settled deep inside me. God had brought me this far. He would not leave me now. One evening, I saw a man walking alone in the field. The sun poured gold over the land. I asked the servant, "Who is that man coming to meet us?" "That is my master," he said. My breath caught. I quickly took my veil and covered my face, not from fear, but out of honor. When he reached us, the servant told him the whole story, how God had led him, the prayer at the well, the sign, my answer. Isaac listened silently. His eyes rested on mine, with a calm that spoke of trust. In that quiet moment, I knew. This was the man God had chosen for me. This was the reason for the journey. Isaac brought me into his mother Sarah's tent. There, I became his wife, and he loved me. We prayed for children, and for years, the answer did not come. Waiting weighed heavy on me. I wondered if God had brought me all this way, only to leave my arms empty. But Isaac prayed to the Lord for me, and God heard. I conceived. Even then, the struggle did not end. 2 sons wrestled within me. In my distress, I cried out to the Lord, and he answered, 2 nations are in your womb. The older will serve the younger. When Esau and Jacob were born, I held them, and I remembered every step of my journey, the well, the choice, the road, the meeting. God's hand had been in it all. Sometimes, God calls you to leave behind everything familiar. Sometimes, he leads you into a future unseen, yet full of promise. The path isn't easy. Fear still whispers. But courage, the courage that changes destinies, is trusting God enough to step forward, even when your heart trembles. When faced between faith and fear, remember me, Rebecca. What about you? If God asked you to walk into the unknown, would you follow? If this story has stirred your faith, don't walk away. Walk with us. Subscribe and join the journey as we bring more powerful stories of God's faithfulness to life.